23,000 for the Nifty, and it's now you made an all-time high, you moved to 23,000. What is the relevance and what is the importance of the, well, when we look back and say it's just a number, but it's a round number which just makes you happy. You know, when you count the bench, when you look at the benchmark indices and when you look at these big round numbers, they just tend to, you know, excite you. What an extraordinary, Rise with India moment this has been. And truly, the spirit of etnow, Rise with India, the spirit of etnow, India is rising, are you rising? And for the first time, you can thumb the table and say that, this bull market truly belongs to Indian investors. FIs have sold, they've not participated, they've missed. I am using the word consciously, they've missed this India rally. They've not been big shoppers or big investors post-COVID, but it is the Indian investors who took a leap of faith. They started mobilizing their savings out of gold and out of fixed deposits, and they've really taken a leap of faith on what the India story is, and that's where I think large part of magic has happened. So if 2000 to 2010 was dominated by FIs, if 2010 to 2020 was dominated by sophisticated HNI investors and ultra HNI investors, 2020 onwards I think is dominated by what could be called as Aam Aadmi. When you go outside Bombay Stock Exchange, there is a great picture of a bull and a common man. And for me, that in a sense is really symbolic of what it means. So Kunal, we are talking about it in the morning. I mean, 23,000 is not like was not a distance away. But the fact that we started on a back foot and we've accelerated after that.
Yeah, Nikunjan, I think it's just about been 4 months or so that we've scaled 22,000. 15th of Jan, I think if I'm not wrong, was where we hit 22,000. And just a matter of four months odd, I think we are now at 23K for the index.
In last 6 months, we've added $1 trillion in terms of market cap. Correct. And that for me is a meaningful number. 2004, the entire market cap of India was $500 billion.
And this is at a time when large caps haven't participated. Yeah. FIIs have completely kept out of Indian markets. So once that comes in, Kunal, and you would know about the short pile up right now and the possible covering that one can see within large caps as to where this market could blow up to.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the short covering is something which is a very important phenomena because it results into V-shaped rallies and recoveries. What we've seen in the last 3-4 weeks is not is exactly similar like a V-shaped recovery for the markets. We were just about start of this month, we were at 21,800 for the index, and we've scaled up almost 1,200, 1,300 points so far for the Nifty in just a matter of I think 2 weeks or so. And that is primarily on the basis of short covering, which has started to reflect very keenly into the markets currently. So I believe it's a very strong phenomena, and if it trickles to the large cap names even for the next few weeks, I think we may see another 500 to 700 points rally on the Nifty.
Right, the likes of Bharti Airtel, Aisha, M&M, they've been some stellar movers as well in this move that we've seen to the 23,000 mark. Ajay Srivastav as well is joining in. Ajay, so we've done it. We're at all-time highs of 23,000 for the first time ever on the Nifty. Are you celebrating?
It's early morning. It's really early morning. Give us at least 10 hours.
But it merits it.
I didn't hear the champagne popping, but I think it's a great for all of us that we have scaled this high, and our faith has been kind of repaid in good money at this point of time. But also it is a time when you look at and say that what do you want to do with your portfolio? Because at one end you're sitting on huge profits. At second end, there are parts of this market which have not performed. Like the consumer segment has just not performed at all. So I think you also need to look at this market and start to rebalance and say, this is a market which favors momentum investing more than value investing. And I think that's the key takeaway as the market hits new highs.
Yeah. Ajay, the chatter before we came to you was, what are you going to be celebrating with and whose revenues are you going to be adding with? Of course, in the evening, I know it's early hours for you. United Spirits, Sula, or Radico maybe.
We are still, you've celebrated so many highs that I don't know how we're still alive.
Yeah, life's a high. But okay, Ajay, to the point about now large caps making that comeback, we know some of the private banking names have had a very big disconnect from the rest of the market, haven't really participated at all. And within large caps, there are few pockets like that. Do you think it's now the bottom-up plays which will come to the fore?
I think you're absolutely correct. Banks, and that perplexes me, that if you look at the last two banks in India, take away the value of their holding companies in insurance, mutual funds, and the general insurance, life insurance, securities company, finance company, for instance. if you just split that value away, the value of the bank is next to nothing. And this just surprises me almost that, FIs are willing to pay 4x, 5x of the book value less than 2 years back. But today, literally the bank value is at 1.5 times of the book value, and they won't buy it. I think I've never seen the banking stock being so cheap in my entire life, if you ask me personally.
Where do we go from here? When is the next milestone, and how soon do you think we will celebrate the milestone of 25,000 on the Nifty?
I think the next move, 25, will come with the GST, change of rates. We are hoping that with this RBI dividend, the one thing which was asked by the government was to reduce the rates on entry-level two-wheelers, entry-level cars, and postpone the borrowing calendar. Two things happen. Borrowing calendar gets postponed, and the entry-level products get a benefit out of GST, and you'll see the market at 25. I think because what does market lack today? Market lacks a trigger for the consumer side. It's all good on capex side, all good on the high-end side. But what it lacks is, at the lower end of the cycle, the consumption has been struggling. Give a little impetus to that, and then you'll see the real market fall, because the capex cycle depends on consumers at the end of the day. So I think a GST rate rejig in favor of the economy goods will be the first big trigger to take it to 25,000.
25,000 before election, or that will be a stretch?
That'll be a
25,000.
bit of a stretch, but I believe we should be heading towards 24,000 at least.
So the
elections.
trade is, even though run-up has been strong, the trade is don't go short for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And don't cut your longs. If you want to cut your positional longs, which you bought for the election trade, do it after 4th, before 4th, or on 4th.
See, after 4th, but I think the markets currently require a lot of shuffling of positions, because I would probably believe that the mid caps and small caps should not perform idly, because when large caps get into the flavor, I think mid caps and small caps ideally should underperform. So maybe few odd sectors here and there, like the defense and the PSU banking stocks, etc., they could outperform. But as a basket overall, I believe mid caps and small caps should underperform. So that's why I believe that in case if the market rallies up another 500 to 1,000 points, and if it's led by large cap names, the mid cap oriented portfolios will underperform.
Okay, it's time for the large caps to take the front seat, and the mid and the small caps could very well back off. But what's the trading screen looking like? While we've made it to 23K, and it's happened in the last 83 odd sessions, I think, the last 1,000-point journey, Divi's, Hindalco, Bajaj Finance, L&T, Reliance, by the way, is flat, Bharti 0.5% higher, and HDFC Bank, that's the one I think which will have a large contribution, much like L&T. That is holding up nearly 1% as we speak right now, and SBI as well is participating nicely. And by the way, the list of reds as well is as large today. So DRL, Bajaj Auto, Coal India, iShares, ICICI Bank, TCS, ITC, M&M, lot of names in there which are not quite participating in today's move. But I guess the celebration is about 23K. And